If you're not doing it, your competitors are, I guarantee you. A lot of people tend to be afraid of it because they think it's being brought in to just replace people. That's not the intent. They're complex situations that take human thought, empathy, understanding. We saved $3.5 billion in 2024. So with Client Zero, IBM, we're gonna show the world, we're gonna be the first client to go full force into generative AI and into showing people how we as a company are going to use it to save billions of dollars.
Tipsy Technologists here. We are today with Joel Kelman. He's an IBM powerhouse, a principal technology partner specialist supporting Ingram Micro, and part of the elite North America ecosystem team.
If you didn't sell, you didn't eat. And that's how I learned sales.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before that, he led sales and technical teams across state, local, and education markets, mastering everything from storage solutions to power systems and beyond. The guy brings intensity, humor, and heart to everything he does. Please welcome the one and only Joel Kelman.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you, Resh.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's about the best introduction I think I've ever gotten.
That's good. All right. Well, we can do this every week.
Awesome.
How about that?
That would make every week just so much better.
So much fun.
Yeah.
We'll have to invite Nat and my best friend.
She would laugh throughout
Yes.
that entire thing.
Would she?
Yeah.
She would have been like,
Yeah.
No.
Who? Yeah. Warrior what?
yeah. How many chickens?
Yeah. He doesn't go near them.
That's funny. Well, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking Maker's Mark.
All right. Well, I am having, what am I having? I'm having a stateside.
Oh, nice. Cheers.
So cheers. Did you know stateside or it's local to Pennsylvania, isn't it? Okay. Because I look everywhere. Hold on. I didn't cheers.
There's a stateside right in South Philly, like right near where we used to live. Yeah.
Okay.
East Passyunk Avenue.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love statesides. I go outside of Pennsylvania. They're not outside of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's a local thing.
Yeah. I didn't know that. It's a good local thing.
It is.
So everyone talks about ChatGPT, but what happens when AI actually changes lives? Today, we're joined by IBM's Joel Kelman to explore how technology is creating inclusion in higher education, saving entire government systems from cyber disaster. So we got a lot to cover today.
That is a lot.
Yeah, I know. Well, before we even get started on some questions I have, tell me a little bit more about you. I know we gave you a killer introduction.
Geez, you did give me a killer introduction.
You should just drop the mic.
I'm done. Yeah. I mean, you covered it all. I mean, I've been with IBM for a little over 12 years now. I've been in my current role for just over a year. I started in October of last year supporting Ingram Micro. And like you said, prior to that, I pretty much sold everything that IBM sells for the past 11 years. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
I've been part of some really crazy situations. Some of them you kind of breezed over, and we'll talk I think more in depth about. But also some really cool situations and some really some projects that have been impactful and that have really helped people and things I'm really proud of. So
that's fun. Did you ever think you were going to be in technology?
I did. So that was my major. I was an MIS major at the University of Rhode Island. Yeah. Yeah. So I graduated in 2002. I'm aging myself in 2002. And right after the tech bubble busted. So, MIS majors went from being the most sought after and coming out of school making like $50,000 a year, which back then was like a really big deal coming out of school, to it being nearly impossible when I graduated 2002 after the tech bubble busted. And so that's how I started my career in sales. My very first job in sales was selling office supplies in Philadelphia, literally walking around town, knocking on 60 to 80 doors a day. And it was straight cold calling. So once you made a customer, you were not allowed to return to that customer. It was you were just there for the first sale. And you got paid straight commission. 25% of your sales was your pay. If you didn't sell, you didn't eat. And that's how I learned sales.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So talk about the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Was Michael Scott your manager?
Was what?
Michael Scott?
Michael. I sold a lot of paper, but Michael Scott was not my manager, and I was not the assistant. The assistant to the branch manager.
Assistant to the regional manager.
The regional manager. Yes, thank you to the regional manager. Yeah, no, I was not Dwight Schrute.
Wow.
But I love The Office.
Wow. Well, all right. So you've been with IBM for 12 years. And then when did you start working with Ingram Micro? And if you don't mind just quickly describing to our viewers, listeners, just a little bit more about Ingram Micro, who they are.
Yeah. So I started with Ingram officially in October of last year. I had accepted the role about 3 months prior to starting, but there was a transition period where I had to stay in my current role. There was a lot of things going on in my current role where my leadership didn't want me to step out right away, and I had some things I had to wrap up. So I was kind of a secret for about 3 months, even though I had accepted the new position. So it's officially been a year. Ingram is a fantastic distributor. And for people that don't know what a distributor is, right? IBM has different models going to market, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have our direct sellers, which are IBM employees that sell directly into the market. And then we have the ecosystem, which is business partner led sales, right? So we have what we call VARs, or value added resellers, which are the business partners that are Ingram's clients that sell to end user customers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have distributors like Ingram, we call them VADs, or value added distributors. And so Ingram is IBM's client, and Ingram has business partners that then sell to end user customers. The Ingram team, I took the position because of the people. They are the most fantastic, kind, hardworking, fun people that I've ever had the opportunity to be around. You get to be around them a lot too. We go on a lot of trips together.
A lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun, but they're just great human beings.
Correct.
And they were the reason why I took the role.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So just also a little bit more background. I mean, that's how we got connected too, because as you just said, Ingram is our VAD, and then that's how we sell IBM. So, I mean, it's great connections. And I do agree with you. The trips, the people, I think that's what makes the big difference. If the team wasn't there,
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I had the opportunity to interview for a position with one of the other VADs at the same time. And like I said, it really was the people from Ingram that made it a clear decision for me from the very first day that I got there.
Yeah.
They were just so warm and welcoming, and I just felt like I fit in.
Yeah.
And I do not regret my decision at all. I have had a great year. It's been so much fun. We've had a lot of success. It's been great getting to know people like you and working with the business partners that Ingram supports. And it's just been a great growth experience for me in my IBM career.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And then just for, again, our viewers' knowledge and information, does IBM prefer to always work through a channel, or do they like to go direct? What's their preferred process?
That's a great question. So traditionally, in the past, IBM has been more direct sell than ecosystem. So currently, the ecosystem represents about 25% of IBM sales. Our leadership, our CEO, Arvind Krishna, has said that we will double business partner participation within the next 2 years, meaning that he wants business partners to go from selling 25% of IBM solutions to selling half or more of IBM solutions. So we're literally doubling down on our distribution and on our business partner network.
That's really good. That's exciting. I'm excited to see where that goes and develops into.
I am too.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about ChatGPT, AI, and some case studies and stories from your perspective.
Maybe Watson X too.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe Watson X, and maybe a little Client Zero too. All of the Client Zero, right? Yeah. It's like, I keep getting that wrong, Client Zero.
Yeah, I keep wanting to call it 0 day.
That's what you said to Myra. He goes 0
day.
Yeah, 0 day.
Yeah.
Or
Well, there's zero
30.
trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Zero trust is like a security thing.
Well, there is a 0 day series on Netflix.
Oh, really?
With Robert De Niro. It's pretty interesting. If you haven't, you'd enjoy it if you haven't seen it. But
I'll have to check it.
I keep confusing the two.
Client Zero is our use case.
So I'd love to learn a little bit more how AI can serve human needs and close opportunity gaps. In one of the most recent examples, we were learning about Penn State, right? And how the Penn State project was able to bridge that gap. And with that, you led one of IBM's largest Watson X implementation. Can you tell us a little bit more about what inspired the project and what problem it helped solve?
Absolutely. So that's one of my proudest moments as an IBMer, right? the project really started as a design thinking session. We had been in discussions with Penn State University for a number of years around a closer partnership with the university. And so we brought our client engineering team up, and the client engineering team is a pre-sales resource that we have.
Okay.
They're a no-charge resource. They come up and they do things like design thinking sessions and sort of help narrow down broad ideas into very narrow ideas that we can then prove out. They create what's called minimum viable products, or MVPs. So we brought the client engineering team to Penn State because we had all these different ideas, but we needed to narrow things down. And there were 3 ideas that came out of the client engineering session that we did and the design thinking session that we did. But the biggest one that had the most traction was a AI chatbot for the students of Penn State University. And specifically, the reason why it took off was it was an initiative, actually, coincidentally, of the president of the university, Dr. Neeli Bendapudi. And Dr. Bendapudi wanted to help her marginalized students. She had seen through studies the university had done that there was a 10-point equity gap between traditional students and non-traditional students. Mm-hmm. Non-traditional meaning maybe first generation, minorities, LGBTQ+, any kind of marginalized population that would not be considered traditional students. And it was Dr. Bendapudi's goal to close that 10-point gap. And this tool that we created for the students at Penn State was one way that Dr. Bendapudi wanted to attack that gap. And what we did was we worked with the university to create an AI assistant chatbot for all 80,000 plus students at Penn State University. And the goal was really to help them. The number one priority was belonging, to help them really feel like they belonged more at the university. So, for example, one of the marginalized populations is students that are first generation college students. Their parents didn't go to college, didn't go to university, and they don't have the experience. So when a student has to ask a question, I mean, when we went to college, you and I know both of our parents went to college. We could ask them, "Hey, mom, hey, dad, what do I do in this situation? Mm-hmm. Where do I go? I need more help. Who do I ask? Mm-hmm. Or, I have this bill coming up. What do I do to get it paid?" Right? We had that benefit of having our parents to support us through that. Many students don't. They don't know where to turn to, and for that reason, a good 10% of them ended up leaving the university. That's just one example, right? So Dr. Bendapudi's primary goal was to give the students a tool that they could then use to ask these questions that they didn't know who else to go to, or maybe they were uncomfortable going to somebody to ask things like food insecurity. I don't know, I don't have enough money to buy dinner tonight. Where can I go to get help? Or where can I go to get groceries? Or I'm failing my math class and I don't know where to go to ask for help. Yeah. Who can help me? Right? Yeah. All those kinds of questions that, again, you and I might have gone to our parents to ask. These students don't have somebody to ask, or maybe don't know who to comfortably ask. And so that was the primary goal of the tool, was to help those students feel like they belonged and that they had somewhere to go comfortably ask a question to get the answers that they needed.
So that's a cool way of how you created a tool using AI to help answer those questions for
exactly
those people. So how did you research, put together, and I know this is a little rudimentary, but again, AI needs data, right? So then how do you put that data together in order to be able to solve those problems?
That's a great question. And one of the things that I always talk to my clients and my business partners and everybody that I talk to AI about is that, AI needs to be trained.
Yep.
Nothing comes out of the box 100% ready to go, not even really 10% ready to go for the most part, right? And it's a very iterative process, right? It can be really scary at first because we see, you and I and everybody else out there, we see ChatGPT, Watson X, we see things that are already built and that we use in our everyday lives, but you never really saw how one of those was built, right? It takes months and months of work to get it to that point where it's ready for prime time. Nobody really sees that. So when you jump into a project like that and you're starting from the very beginning, it's daunting, it's scary. You're like, is this really going to work, right? But it does. And there was nothing that was presented to us throughout the entire project where the IBM team was like, oh, that's something that we can't overcome. And what we did was, again, just iterative updates, process changes, improvements. And we worked with their student student life team to test it. We work with different student groups to give us feedback. The really important thing was to make sure that when we did send it out to the entire university, that it was ready for prime time. Because a lot of times with these tools, you only get one shot. If a student goes and tries to use a tool, or not just a student, but anybody, out there tries to use an AI assistant, if it doesn't work, or if they feel as though it wasted their time, they're not going to go back and try it again. So we had to get it right the first time, and it took a long time. It took months to get there, but we did.
And this may be relevant or not, but was budget a concern? I mean, how does a school predict the budget for a lot of that research and planning before you actually get like a live product?
Budget's always a concern.
Yeah.
Especially for state, universities. So was budget a concern? Absolutely. But we worked through that, right? Mm-hmm. The initial, I would say, first 6 months of the project was really a lot of building and testing, and there's not, for example, software charges that go through when we're just building something. We're not going to charge a client for a tool they're not actually productively using yet, right? There were concerns, but we overcame them. And again, this was an initiative of the president of the university. It was something that she had promised to the board of trustees. So we had the right people backing the solution.
That's cool. So there's often tension in education, right? AI as a tool versus AI as a threat. How do you think universities can embrace AI responsibly?
That's a great question. It's tricky, right? I mean, you can't ignore it, right? AI is out there. Everybody's using it. You have to embrace it, because if you don't embrace it, your students are going to anyway, and they could use it in good ways and they can use it in bad ways, right? There's always a concern about plagiarism, right? But there are niche software tools out there that can check a student's work and see and let a professor know, hey, does this sound like it's something that's been plagiarized, or was AI used to create this or not? Now, those tools still aren't perfect. AI is never perfect, right? But it's still important for a human to review, I think, in those most sensitive cases where, if this software is saying, hey, we believe the student did plagiarize, or we believe the student used AI to create this work. I still think, in my opinion, personally, that a human should then review that and make the ultimate decision. But it's still a great tool to use. It saves people tons of time. It saves universities and businesses tons of money. And so I think it has to be embraced, and it can be used in good ways and in bad ways. Like we said, we created a system that was used in a good way to help students feel like they belonged where they were, right? You can use it in bad ways, right? You can use it to plagiarize. You can use it to write your paper for you. You can use it to impersonate somebody. But it's all about having proper guide rails, and I think embracing it and using it in the positive ways, and then monitoring and always being on the lookout for the bad ways, because they're always going to be there.
Yeah. So it's important that these universities, just to repeat what you just said, it's important for them to take advantage of it, but then also know where it's not perfect, and be able to know where you can pick up on where it's being used.
It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Yeah. I mean, even when it's used in a good way, right? There are certain instances where even at IBM, we still script certain pieces of AI because there's zero room for error.
Yeah.
And AI is always going to have error, right? So things like benefits administration, right? You can't get your employees' medical benefits wrong.
Right.
So there's still certain parts of and one of the solutions we'll talk about, I know in a little bit, is our HR solution and our client zero story. And there's still parts of that actually are hard scripted, because again, AI is not perfect. It never will be perfect. And there are some instances where you need perfection, right?
Yeah.
So I think universities have to keep that in mind too. It's a great tool, but it's just a tool. It's not the end all be all.
Yeah. And just out of curiosity, of all those, I think, 80,000 students, is there a percentage of the disadvantaged students that are first generation or LGBTQ or anything like that? Just trying to measure the impact of how this tool, AI, helped create that sense of belonging?
It's a good question. We're still too early.
Too early. Okay.
Yeah. We don't have those kind of detailed results yet.
Yeah.
It's only been rolled out since the beginning of this year for them.
All right.
So they're still using it. We're still collecting that data, but I think it's something that we're going to be able to report back on in the future, and I'm excited to hear how it's going.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
If you could summarize this whole entire experience with the Penn State project for any CIOs, is there anything good or bad that you would suggest to our listeners out there just to understand better?
I don't think there's anything bad. I think you have to go into it with, and I'm going to say this, and people are still not going to listen, and they're still going to get freaked out when they start a project like this. It takes work. It's not perfect. Mm-hmm. It's not anywhere near perfect when you get started. The first time you see the initial product or the initial solution that's put together, there's going to be tons of things wrong with it, little bugs that need fixed. All those things are easily overcome. Even the most complicated, difficult ones that aren't easy to overcome, they're still overcomable, right?
Yeah.
So I tell people this going into it, but they don't listen.
Yeah.
But don't freak out. Just know that it's an iterative process. It's going to take lots of testing, training, because AI, I mean, we've been saying this for years, computers are dumb, people are smart, right? We train the models, right? Mm-hmm. So it's going to take time, it's going to take testing, it's going to take training, it's all iterative. In the end, IBM always delivers, and we're going to hand off a product or a solution that works and that helps your users. But don't get freaked out on the process when you get to actually see behind the scenes how it's actually built like you've never seen before. Mm-hmm. Know that it's a little messy, it's a little sloppy in between, but we always get to the end of job.
Yeah. And I mean, that's something that you can take in everything that you're working on and that you're doing, right? The first iteration of anything is nowhere near perfect.
Yeah. But again, this is one of those things that like people never have had the opportunity typically to be a part of before. You only have seen the finished product.
Right.
The experience that most of us have with AI is something like a ChatGPT that's already been built and tested and iterated and perfected or near perfected. Again, there's no such thing as perfection, but it's something that's been out there for years, right? And you're building something that's customized and new. So, it's something that's, again, most people haven't seen before. They've never had that look behind the scenes. And now that they do, they're like, oh my God, is this going to work? Is it really going to happen? It's going to work. It's going to happen.
Okay. Well, I love that. Using technology to build belonging. So,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's switch gears to another subject. But before I do that, is there anything else that you wanted to say on that? That I maybe missed as well.
No, like I said, it's something I'm really proud of. I come from a Penn State family. I didn't go to Penn State, but I broke the tradition. But I do come from a Penn State family, from my grandmother's class to my grandmother, my dad, aunts, uncles. I have 2 little cousins there now. So come from a huge Penn State family. I've been going there to see football games my whole life. So it's something that's very near and dear to my heart, and something I'm really proud of. It was a great experience working with the Penn State team, getting to know Dr. Bennett Pudi. She's a fantastic, not only a fantastic president for the university and a fantastic leader, but just a great human being. And I think you can tell that from the goal of her project.
I love that.
Right. And she's such a great advocate for her students. And so it was just an honor and a privilege being a part of the project.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question. When you talk about the AI models and comparing it to ChatGPT, something that people see the end product that's already been trained versus something new that they need to train from scratch per se. Mm-hmm. Is it really starting from scratch? Is there a baseline of data that you start with? What does that look like? Because as an organization that might be looking to implement this, do they need to provide you with every piece of data to get going? Like, how does that come about?
So that's a great question. So there's different answers to it, right? So we of course use large language models, right? That LLMs, right? That are pre-built. IBM's is called Granite, right? There are lots of others out there like Llama, and there's a whole bunch, right? So there are pre-built large language models that are out there, but and there are also pre-built solutions. Like for example, the university student concierge is now an asset that IBM Consulting and Penn State take to market together. And it's a pre-built accelerator or cartridge. The consulting calls it a cartridge. It's an accelerator. So there are pre-built intents. It's like you pretty much just have to enter in your specific university information, but the general framework is already pre-built, right? So you don't have to start from scratch. Obviously, there's a cost to that, but also a tremendous time savings where you can get it implemented much faster than starting from scratch. So there's models like that where there's pre-built accelerators. But then there's going to be some custom solutions where it hasn't been built yet, and you have to just start with that large language model and start from there and move forward. So, when I say that it's not perfect, I mean, what I mean is some of the answers that you get back might not be the right answers the first time for various different reasons, right? Or it might not be the right language, and what I mean by that is the right sounding grammar or the right phrase or the right keywords that you want it to use. You have to train it to get to exactly where you want it to be. So it's going to be generally pretty good coming out of the gate, but people expect perfection. Again, you only get one chance with that end user. If somebody goes and tries it and again they feel like it's a waste of their time, they're not going to go back and use it again, right? Unless they're a paid user group or even a student user group that's being asked to test it. But the regular person that you've said, hey, I've got this tool, I want you to use it. It's gonna help improve your life, and then you go and try it, and you're like, this just wasted however many minutes or hours or whatever of my time. They're not going to go back and try it again. So to get it to that perfect end state, that's what takes a lot of time.
Let's switch gears to another kind of resilience. What happens when things go wrong? Okay. So would love to hear a little bit more and learn a little bit more about IBM technology with IBM's flash system, safeguarded copy technologies, and learn a little bit more about how this helped you in a cyber resiliency versus a disaster recovery situation. So do you want me to start, or do you want to start from there?
I can start from there.
Okay, start.
Yeah. So I think it's important first to distinguish. You mentioned the two, disaster recovery and cyber resiliency, right? Because there's a difference between the two, right? Disaster recovery is something that's been a term and something that's been around for ages, right? And disaster recovery basically means that, my data center is gone, right? There was a tsunami, an earthquake, a bomb got dropped on the building. That building no longer exists, and I need to fail over to a completely separate, different location. That's disaster recovery, right? Versus cyber resiliency, which is a newer term, a more modern term, right? Cyber resiliency is more, we've experienced a ransomware attack or some sort of data corruption event, right? Or even an accident. Somebody deleted something accidentally on our system, so a friendly fire, if you will, right? One of our admins accidentally deleted something, but my systems are still up and running. My data center is still there. I just have either corrupted data, stolen data, missing data, something like that, and I need to get it back quickly. That's cyber resiliency. So that's the difference between the two. So, cyber resiliency solutions typically live on the same system that they're protecting, whereas disaster recovery solutions are in a whole different building, hopefully in a whole different part of the country or world.
Right. In case something actually happens.
Exactly.
So can you tell me a story about where cyber resiliency wasn't in place and what happened?
I can vaguely tell you a story of examples of where cyber resiliency was and wasn't in place. But I can't get into too much detail because I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Fair.
Namely me.
Okay. We don't want that.
Yeah.
But keep drinking. I'm not just saying.
Yeah. But so I've had the privilege and the honor of covering lots of different government agencies in my career. And we did run into an incident in one of those government agencies at one point in time where it was a case of, I would say, friendly fire, if you will, right? There was a database admin who was doing some routine work trying to virtualize some servers. He was trying to take some physical servers and turn them into virtual servers. Again, fairly routine work for an admin. But at some point during that process, he started getting some warnings on his screen about things that he wasn't doing correctly. And he wasn't the most experienced admin, apparently. And instead of heeding those warnings and
he wasn't, or was the most experienced?
Was not
the most experienced.
Was not the most experienced admin, apparently.
Okay.
And instead of heeding those warnings and following the instructions and slowly and gently backing out of what he had started, he just thought to himself, well, if I just start over again, I just turn it off and turn it back on, everything will be fine, right? He kind of assumed everything that he had already moved to the right side. If you turn it off, it'll just already automatically reappear on the left side and still be there. Well, that's not what happened. And he tried to restart the process without heeding the warnings. And he deleted about 70 servers worth of data.
Oh my God.
And some of that data was critical public safety data. Again, I can't get into which specific agencies, but let's just say public safety data. Some of it was financial data. It was a big deal, a really big deal. And this was at a government agency that was running IBM storage, namely our flash systems. And all of IBM flash systems come with a solution that you mentioned earlier called safeguarded copy. Some of the agencies were using safeguarded copy and some of them weren't. And the recovery time was vastly different between those two groups. The agencies that were using safeguarded copy were back online within a matter of hours. A couple of hours, they were back online. The agencies that weren't using the technology were down for weeks. And they had to hire an outside firm that specialized in forensic data recovery to try and rebuild those servers to get that data back. So like I said, it was a really big deal. So I guess that begs the question, what is safeguarded copy, right? And how does it do what it does, right? So our IBM flash systems, every IBM flash system comes with safeguarded copy. And what safeguarded copy is it's a way of taking what we call an immutable snapshot or an immutable picture of your data. And when I say immutable, what I mean is you're taking a copy of the data that cannot be changed in any way, shape, or form by anyone. So the only thing that copy of data can be used for is to rehydrate or repopulate your system in the event of a cyber resiliency issue or incident, right? Where you have lost your data has been corrupted, you deleted by accident, you have a copy of it that is separate from the entire world. It's air gapped, so it's still on the same machine, but it's not visible from the outside world. Only your privileged users on your system can see it, so the typical admin can't see it, doesn't know it's there. Only your privileged users know it's there. And again, the only thing that even those privileged users can do with it is mount it to your storage to repopulate data that's either been corrupted or deleted. And then once they have mounted it, rehydrated that data, it goes back where it came from and lives on its life. But it can't be altered, changed. It can't do anything else but recover lost data. That's all it does. So
I like that safeguarded.
It's super important and it's very easy to use. I've actually done a demo of it myself. I am not a storage admin.
Wow.
But I've taken customers through a demo of it myself. It's that easy to use. It's literally point and click to set it up. And it comes on every IBM flash system and there's no additional charges. It's not like some software feature you need to activate. It's there. It just comes with it. The only thing you need is the capacity, the physical storage capacity to make the copies. But other than that, it's there for you to use. And so the fact that these agencies weren't using it is still baffling to me, blows my mind. Because they have access to it. They just had to make the copies and they just needed the physical capacity to do that. And they had the physical capacity to do it. They just weren't doing it. And I couldn't tell you why.
Which is interesting because I was going to ask you, why do you think that some of them don't activate the tools that they already have? They're spending the money.
I wish I could tell you. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Shame.
It is a shame. Because like I said, the agencies that were using it were back online within a matter of a couple of hours and no data was lost.
Do you think by working with different, so IBM in this case works with different business partners, would that be that'd be a good selling point for a business partner as you're selling IBM technologies, right? To demonstrate your value add would be to remind your customers of all these different capabilities.
Absolutely. I I think IBM storage is second to none. I've been with IBM for 12 years now. In my entire career, I have never lost a storage deal, competitive storage deal on value, so on cost or on performance. Never. The only time I've lost a storage deal is because somebody was buddies with somebody and that's who they ended up wanting to buy from and they were with a different company. But if you give us an apples to apples comparison against any other storage vendor out there, I've never lost a deal. And on top of safeguarded copy, I really think that IBM doesn't do, unfortunately, a good enough job of bragging about how awesome our storage is. Our storage does real-time ransomware detection.
Okay.
Meaning, so our enterprise class storage, our FS 9500, it monitors your data as it's going in and out of the system. It monitors what you call your IO, your in and out, right? So it monitors your IO and it looks for anomalies, right? So ransomware is typically an anomaly. So if a system is used to seeing, just as an example, your system is always used to seeing encrypted data, right? And all of a sudden, an unencrypted data package comes across the wire. Our storage picks that up and is smart enough to pick that up as an anomaly, right? And immediately flags it. It immediately takes a snapshot or picture of your primary storage and your DR storage just to get a point-in-time copy of everything when it noticed this anomaly coming through. It calls home to IBM and says, hey, IBM, there's a problem, right? And it calls the designated customer contacts and lets them know there's a problem. And it does all of that within 2 seconds.
Wow.
2 seconds.
Wow.
There's no other storage vendor out there, no other storage system out there that does that. I mean, you walk into any CIO's office, VP of IT, director of infrastructure, and you tell them, and their jaws drop. Yeah. And they're just like, wow, why aren't we using IBM storage? I'm like, exactly. Why aren't you using IBM storage?
Is that the number one thing for the CIOs listening to our call right now? Is that the one thing that you would tell them?
From an IBM storage perspective, absolutely. There's no other storage vendor that has that technology and that has it included as a part of their storage system, and that has a system like safeguarded copy that comes included as a part of the system. Again, no additional charges for using safeguarded copy, no additional features you have to add. All you need is the physical capacity to make the copies. And you determine how many copies and which data you copy. It's all customizable. So you don't have to copy everything. You can copy just your most critical data sets. You can copy everything if you want to. It's up to you. You can make 20 copies a day. You can make 1 copy a day, anything in between. It's completely customizable, and it's all up to how much capacity you have and how many copies do you think you need, how sensitive the data is, how often the data changes, and so then therefore how many copies you think you need throughout a day.
Interesting. In a world that these risks, right, are happening every day, the data loss, the ransomware, right, all these risks are happening every day. In your opinion, how do you get organizations to be more aware, to take this more seriously? Because we tend to live in a world where we're very reactive.
We are.
Less proactive.
We are. And I think it's a great question. I mean, it is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's going to happen. It's going to happen to every company, every organization out there. You are going to experience some ransomware attack. You are going to experience data corruption. You are going to experience somebody, we're human, we make mistakes. Somebody that works for you is going to delete something by accident that's critically important. It happens. It's completely unavoidable, right? But if you have a system like safeguarded copy in place on IBM flash systems, then you have a way to bring that data back literally in seconds, and be back online with your data in minutes. So how do you convince people? I mean, just read the news. Every day there's a different incident you read about in the news about, data leaks and ransomware incidents. And I can't even tell you how many times I've had to get a new credit card over the past 5 years because of the data breaches and the credit card information that gets sent out. So my credit companies just send me a new credit card every few months because it's been in another data breach, right? So it's a part of our everyday lives. Unfortunately, it's unavoidable. But if you have proper safeguards in place, like IBM safeguarded copy on our flash systems, then you can protect against it. If you have a ransomware attack that happens to you while you have safeguarded copies, you can literally tell that bad actor, go pound sand. I have my data. It's protected. And whatever encrypted stuff that you have that you think is valuable, it's not, because I have a copy of it and I'm good to go. So see you later.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I know it even happens to the best of us. Like last night I was shopping, doing my favorite thing. And I was online shopping and I saw this website and I went, no, that's too good to be true. I mean, very nice designer things were like 95% discounted.
Yeah. Well, and again, with AI, right?
Yeah.
I
was so tricked for a second.
To
and
tell.
I went,
It is so hard to tell real from fake, even for people that are in the technology industry, right? Like there are certain times where I kind of do a double take and I'm like, wait a minute, is that real or is that? It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
And the scams and the ransomware attacks, all that stuff, the phishing, it's getting more and more complex and complicated and real looking. Yeah. And so you have to be ready for it because it's going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to trick you. I mean, they're going to trick me. They got me almost. But then I Googled the site and I go, I don't know about this. Like, this isn't right. Then I Googled and said, scam. I went, all right, next. But what sucked was, you just mentioned credit cards. I accidentally just put in some of my credit card information. And then thank goodness Capital One sent me that third-party authenticator. And I was quickly able to say, no, because I just knew it. Because I didn't even want to process it. I was just like, oh, let me see. And then, no, let me Google. So let me double check that, or ChatGPT. I like to say Google. I think I'm of that generation.
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah, I Google everything. Yeah,
it's Google.
Yeah.
But everybody now ChatGPTs.
I don't do that. I don't use it at all. I literally do not use it at all.
It's amazing. I watch TV shows and they're like, oh, if you ChatGPT, blah, 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 you'll see it. And I went, wasn't it just Google? Like, you just Googled me and then you just...
So can I tell a funny story about that?
Tell a funny story. This is supposed to be fun.
So I recently had to buy a new HVAC system, heating and air conditioning system, right? And so I'm a 3-quote guy. I always get, because I'm in sales, right? Okay. I get 3 quotes for everything. And one of the guys that gave me a quote was from like Ace Home Services, right? And I did not choose to move forward with him. His pricing was higher and his products I thought were inferior, whatever. And he asked me who I was going with, and it was like a carrier dealer that I went with. And he gave me this ChatGPT explanation of why I was making the wrong decision, right? And it was hilarious. And I said to him, ChatGPT, he told me. He's like, I put this into ChatGPT. Look, this is what it says about, how the equipment you're buying has had problems and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, really? I said, which version of ChatGPT did you use? I said, did you pay for it or are you using the free version? He said, oh no, my girlfriend, she pays for it. I would never pay for something like that. I can just use it for free. I said, well, the limit of knowledge for the free version is from 4 years ago, right? So you just gave me information that's 4 years old. I said, I work for IBM and I sell AI for a living, right? That's what I do.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh.
You said I put it into Watson.
Yeah, I put it into Watson X, and Watson X told me that I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I love when people try to like mansplain AI things.
So you get mansplained also?
Oh yeah, with things. I put this into ChatGPT and it told me this, and I'm like, great, you're giving me information from 4 years ago. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
You got to love your HVAC tech. Educating you on AI.
Yeah. He obviously had no idea that I worked for IBM and that I sell AI for a living. But that's what made it really funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah. So be careful what you use ChatGPT for, because again, it has a limitation of its knowledge and it gets cut off, and you have to use the paid versions to get a more recent knowledge cutoff base.
Right. But it's still sometimes weird. So Joel, let's talk a little bit more about Client Zero, when IBM became its own customer. And I think there's a lot of teaching points, learning points that we can get from this. So I would just say, let's start from the beginning. Why did IBM say, let's be Client Zero? Where did this come from?
I love the story. I think to me, it's all about experiential selling, right? Up until the whole client zero story and up until we started our client engineering journey, you would come out, think about a typical software sale, right? Yeah. You would go to your customer, you might do a demo, or you might just kind of like show them some slides, PowerPoint slides, do a presentation, maybe you do a demo, but at the end of it, you're like, all right, it's really cool, right? You buy it, right?
Yeah.
But when you have a solution that's complex and it's customized as an AI solution, that doesn't really work, right? It's a big investment, not only a big financial investment, but a big investment in time and resources, and a big trust factor, right? I mean, you're building something that people have to trust and rely on as truth. So with Client Zero, IBM, like I said, put its money where its mouth is, and we said, you know what? We're going to show the world that we're going to be the first client to go full force into generative AI and into literally showing people how we as a company are going to use it to save billions of dollars. And so what we did was we started off with which was an HR use case. And we looked at our HR organization and we had hundreds of HR partners that were spending their time doing way too many low value tasks, right? Things like managers would have to go to an HR partner to do anything HR related. So, I need to change my employee's work location. They're moving, they're relocating from Philadelphia to Boise, Idaho, or, my employee, I'm giving them a raise or a band increase or a promotion. I need to make note of that in the system, or any number of things that really don't take a human to do, but humans were doing them. So with Client Zero, we basically created our own HR system using watsonx so that our HR partners could then go focus on higher value things that actually need human intervention or a human to do them. They're complex situations that take human thought, empathy, understanding, right? Not the mundane tasks of I need to change a worker's location, I need to give them a pay raise, stuff like that, right? And in doing so, IBM, the goal was to save $2 billion in 2024 by using watsonx as essentially our HR chatbot. We created a chat bot called Ask HR. We didn't just save $2 billion in 2024. We saved $3.5 billion with a B, billion, in 2024. And the projected savings in 2025 by using Ask HR to IBM is $4.5 billion by the end of 2025. And again, I think a lot of people tend to be afraid of it because they think it's being brought in to just replace people. That's not the intent. The intent is to have the human focus on the higher value tasks, the things that actually require a human to do that, like I said, take complex thought, empathy, reasoning, understanding, right? But for the mundane things that are everyday things that are repetitive, that are easy decisions to make or that are easy things to do, let AI handle them. And so we started it with Ask HR, but now we have Ask IT. Literally everything we do, all those things you forgot your password or you need to update your password. Your laptop's broken, your cell phone's broken, anything you need office space, you need anything you could think of, those regular business everyday things, all of it at IBM is now done with AI. We don't go to humans for any of that stuff anymore. It's all handled by AI, all by watsonx.
So that's a pretty huge transformation, a lot of savings, a lot of cost money. What do you cost savings? What do you think the hardest part was initially? The people or the technology?
I think at first it's the buy-in from the people.
Right.
Because again, people like to talk to other people. Think about it. When you call for customer service, right, for in your everyday life, right, and you get a chatbot that answers on the other end, you're like, oh, do I have to talk to this thing?
Know.
Right? You just want to get, you're like, customer service.
That's
customer
what
service.
I do too. We
right?
yell all
Everybody
the time.
does it.
Yeah.
You yell customer service.
Agent.
Right, exactly.
And of course, the louder you yell, the faster you're going to get to the agent, right?
Exactly.
That's how it works.
So without a doubt, the people were the hardest part. You had to get their buy-in. But the honest to goodness truth is it really freaking works. Like, and you save so much time not going to the person and just going through the system because it works so well and it's so seamless and it gets you to from point A to point B. It gets you your new password or resets your password or gets you your system unlocked again so quickly. And you don't have to wait on hold and you don't have to explain the situation to the human and why it happened and how it happened. It just gets you to the end of job so much faster. So the hard part was getting everybody to try it for the first time, but we kind of forced them because we were like, hey, you don't have a choice. Like this is how it's going. You can't, you don't have that person. Your HR partner is now moved on to bigger and better things. They're not here to handle those situations, so they can't help you anymore. Here's your help. It's Watson X. But then when we tried it, everybody was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. It works. Right. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where you have to get it right the first time. It has to work or else everybody's going to be up in arms. Like, this is wasting my time. Well, guess what? We got it right. It didn't waste our time and it saved the company $3.5 billion in 2024. And it's going to save us $4.5 billion plus in 2025.
But they had to be prepping for a while for that, right? Because as you said with your Penn State project, I mean, it was a lot. Before,
for sure. Oh yeah. There was months and months of work, probably years of work that went into it. But it was led from and pushed from the highest levels of the company, right? It was an initiative, not only of our chief human resource officer, Nicola Moreau, who's brilliant, but of Arvind Krishna, our CEO. And that was the direction of the company. And again, if we're going to tell the market that this is what they should be doing, how better to prove it than to do it ourselves? Right. We literally took our own medicine and we proved that it worked.
So then how, in ways that you're working now, do you see it showing up in your everyday work life at IBM? I mean, I know you gave examples, but I'm just curious for you.
Literally everything I do that I need to do, whether it's an expense report or requests or, procurement type stuff. I want to get logo gear for Ingram One, which is coming up soon, right? In the first week of November. Anything that I do that is, like I said, a mundane task or something that is really basic, that doesn't require a human is no longer done by a human. For those things, we don't interact with humans anymore. Yeah. We've even got a new tool called Ask Sales, right? Where you can go in and ask it questions about our solutions and help, put together presentations and for customers, right? You can have it go into our CRM system and help find opportunity information. So there's so many good ways that it can be used to help us as IBMers save time. And we literally, everybody in the company literally uses it every day. It's such and the cool thing about it is like, cool. You've mentioned ChatGPT by name a bunch of times, and I'm sure there's a lot of different ways that you use it in your everyday life, or that lots of people use it in their everyday lives. As IBMers, we have full access to Watson X, so we get to use Watson X for all that kind of stuff, right? We literally have it on our cell phones, right? So we can use it for all that stuff, and it works 10 times better than ChatGPT.
I like that.
And it's purposefully built for business, right? It's not just some consumer grade thing that's got information from 4 years ago, right? Yeah. It's purposefully built, and we get to use it in our everyday lives and for work every day. So it's a really cool tool. It's even today though, I have to be reminded sometimes, like, I'll put together a note and Susan will be like, hey, you should just run that through Consulting Advantage or run it through Ask IBM, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forget I can do that, and it's okay. Like we're allowed to do that, right? Yeah. And again, it's not plagiarizing. It's not cheating. It's just, you're asking it to refine what you've already put together. It's a really cool tool that we get to use in our everyday lives. I think that's one of the cooler things these days about being an IBMer is having that full access to Watson X.
Yeah. I think some of the really interesting pieces are just based on what you said. And then we learned more that HR cut support costs by 40% and eliminated 75% of disparate applications. I mean, that's just huge. And then IT reduced tickets by 56% and eliminated help desk phone lines, which you were just saying as well.
Yeah, there's no need for them anymore. Yeah, it works so. You wouldn't believe it unless you really tried it. Like my words don't do it justice. It just works, right. and it works so much faster than sitting on hold waiting for somebody to get on and work you through whatever problem you're having. You literally just tell it what problem you're having, and it just gets you through to the solution. And it's so fast. It's amazing.
I mean, I think that part is really cool and remarkable. And one of the things that I'm bringing it back to smaller companies that aren't at the scale of enterprise scale of IBM, where do you suggest companies start when they're a smaller company? How do they get started in doing the same thing?
That's a great question. I think it's important to remember that like all of our, not all, but our watsonx solution and all of our AI solutions are available as SaaS, and we typically do sell them as SaaS, which is software as a service. So you don't have to buy a whole bunch of infrastructure, and you don't have to have it on your own premise. It'll live in the IBM cloud. It's going to run on our systems. So you can start small. You don't have to start with some huge enterprise grade, virtual assistant, right? You can start with something as small as a frequently asked questions tool, right? A virtual assistant that can ask questions that your call agents are maybe taking tons of questions on. I don't know. We've had clients that are student loan providers or student aid providers, and they get a lot of the same questions from the students. Oh, I can't pay my bill this month. How can I defer my loan? Or a lot of those same repetitive questions. My payment went up. What happened? Why? All those things can be handled by a virtual assistant. So my advice is like, first of all, don't ignore it, and don't say, oh, we don't need it, or we can't afford it, or we can't do it. Because if you're not doing it, your competitors are, I guarantee you. And they're making things easier for their customers or their end users or their clients. So if you're not doing it, they are, and you're going to fall behind. But just start small, right? Talk to your IBM salesperson or your business partner, your value-added reseller, right? Talk to them about what are your pains? What are the things that you're having trouble with, or that are wasting your employees? You feel that are wasting your employees' time, mundane tasks that could be handled by an AI assistant. Start small and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
We've literally have built systems. We built one during the pandemic for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, actually. We built them an AI assistant. It was a phone assistant for the Department of Labor Industry. And I can speak about it because the governor at the time actually got on the news and said that they were using Watson to, back then it was Watson, it wasn't Watson X yet, to help answer constituents' questions about unemployment compensation benefits, because during the pandemic, so many people got laid off, and the Department of Labor and Industry was the call centers were being overwhelmed with people that had questions about unemployment compensation. And so within a matter of 2 weeks, IBM literally dropped everything, put a team together, and created a frequently asked questions virtual assistant for Pennsylvania to take the pressure off of the call agents and to handle a lot of those frequently asked questions. And we had it delivered, like I said, within a matter, built and delivered to the state in an emergency within 2 weeks. And that was just an example of what you can do. Again, it answered the most frequently asked questions, but it deflected, I want to say, I think it was around 20% of the calls from the call center, which when you're getting hundreds or thousands, literally tens of thousands of constituents calling in, asking kind of the same questions, and you can take that pressure off the call centers. I mean, that's huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I know. All right, fun question before we play a fun game.
Okay.
If you could have AI fix one business headache, what would it be?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
How do I answer this without getting myself in trouble?
I know. It doesn't have to be technical, human, whatever.
One business headache.
Or not.
That's a tough question.
Or even if it's not business, just if you could AI anything to make your day easier.
Well, I think we talked about this before. If I could have AI do one thing, it would be to take the words that come out of my mouth and then put them in a way that doesn't make my wife mad. My mouth gets me in trouble so often that if I could just have AI take what I'm trying to say, and it knew what I was trying to say, and put it in a much nicer or in a way that she understands it and doesn't get mad at me, then man, that would be solid gold.
That'd be good. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
That could probably lower the divorce rate.
Yeah.
It could,
yeah.
Right.
Husband says this, it gets translated into wife speak in a way that she understands and does not get pissed off at him. I mean, it would be brilliant, right?
And then the reverse.
And the reverse, yeah. It's like you need like a translator. AI could be that translator. I speak husband, you speak wife. AI is in the middle, and
You speak husband, wife.
that's somebody has to develop that AI tool.
I'm sure. I am sure that's coming. All right, so we're gonna play a little game. AI or a lie. Okay. So we're gonna see how much you know the difference. All right, between these.
This is
two.
tough because like deep fakes are a real thing, right? So this is gonna be really tough.
Yeah, but I have a feeling. Don't look because can't see the answers.
I'm not looking.
Don't look. Don't cheat. All right.
I'm not cheating.
Because if AI was here, it'd probably cheat anyway for you. All right, let's start. An AI chatbot once convinced judges it was a 13-year-old boy from Ukraine and passed the Turing test. AI or a lie?
So am I supposed to know what the Turing test is?
I guess so, because I don't either. We could chat GPT it, or we could Watson X it.
Yeah.
Text.
I'm going to say AI.
All right, we got one. Yay. Oh, yeah. And then let me put the tier. Oh, okay. Are we drinking when you get it right and wrong or both?
I don't know. I thought we were drinking when I said AI.
Oh, yeah, we did. You said AI like 5 million times.
I know. We haven't drank enough.
I was going to say, what?
So the Turing test is a measure of a machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior that is indistinguishable from that of a human.
Wow. I'm somewhat embarrassed to say I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Me neither.
Learn something new every day.
All right. IBM Watson once lost on Jeopardy to Siri.
That's a lie.
Yes. All right. Yeah. All right. Question. If Watson and Siri were to face off today, who would win?
Watson X.
Okay.
Watson
X. Yeah.
Watson X. Yeah.
For some reason, it's not. It's still saying IBM Watson in our game, but you know what I'm saying.
It's Watson X. Yeah.
Okay. AI can now detect sarcasm in text with over 90% accuracy. AI or a lie?
That's a lie.
All right. You're doing pretty well on this game. We're going to get 100. Should we have a drink again?
We should be AI.
Sure. Why not?
I think just answering the question warrants a drink.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. We're almost done. So let's do it.
I think, by the way, that's one of the things that that's dangerous about AI, right? Is that it can't understand, certainly at 90% accuracy, it can't always understand intent or inflection. It can understand intent and inflection, but not at 90% accuracy.
Yeah.
I feel like as humans, we can't even do it with text messages, right? Think about how many times you've gotten yourself in trouble throughout your life sending a text message, and you're like, somebody reads it one way, and you're like, that's not the way I meant it, you know?
Exactly.
But, so if we can't even do it, how's AI supposed to be able to do it, right? So that's what made that kind of an easy one to answer. If humans, because again, humans are smart, computers are dumb. If it's something that we can't even do, then it's something that AI can't do either.
That's true. I mean, that's true. It's a good way to think about it. All right. A cybersecurity breach happened because someone's password was literally password 123 exclamation point.
AI.
Yeah. All right. That's good. Yeah.
That's like a true or false, though.
Yeah.
AI is not the right answer, but I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
Not false.
True.
Yes.
Yeah. You've probably seen worse in real life. I'm sure. They probably had passwords like, I don't know, Reshma 1234.
We actually have to use pass phrases now. Like you have to create a sentence. It's insane.
Oh.
Yeah. And passwords are no longer a thing, at least at IBM.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. And actually, just recently they did away with pass phrases. Even you're supposed to be using like biometrics, facial recognition or your fingerprint or whatever.
Yeah. But what if there's a fake AI that's you?
It's a
done deal.
It's a real concern.
Yeah.
Did they make you change your passphrase every 90 days too?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
It's a lot to remember. I already forgot mine.
Yeah.
It's been 1 minute. All right, got it. All right. A smart fridge can now text you when your milk expires.
AI.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like true or false too. Same thing like you just said, but technically mine can, so that's true. All right. During an AI demo, a model accidentally deleted a company's entire email archive to optimize storage.
A lie.
AI.
Was it? During a demo?
Yeah.
Who did that demo?
I don't know. Probably somebody dumb.
You don't do demo on real data. Like you don't do a demo on a production real data system.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So that's why really I was like, that can't be dumb. Because like you never use real
AI.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're going to say something?
Whoever did that demo, I'm sure got canned and they deserved it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. All right, here's a big one. I don't know if you're going to know this. IBM wants and could call better plays than Kevin Patullo.
AI.
All right, last one. Goodie. I don't know if you're going to get it, okay? Reshma trained an AI to pair IBM products with cocktails.
AI.
Woo!
Not bad. I only got one wrong.
Yeah, technically that was a lie, but that's okay.
That's not a lie.
Yeah, but it's AI. I'm so smart. I'm so good.
Yeah.
AI, listen to me. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. Well, you crushed it.
I think she created the Aptiotini.
Yes. We should just combine our little drinks. I did ask Amy earlier for an espresso martini, so that would have been really good right now. But I woke up now. All right. Well, thank you for playing. That was fun.
That was fun.
All right. That was fun. So we're going to wrap up. So I appreciate your time today. I think we covered a lot of different subjects.
We did.
We talk about Penn State and creating a sense of belonging and using AI to help bridge that gap. Sorry, didn't mean to hit the microphone. And then we learned a little bit more about the difference between disaster recovery and cyber resilience, a little bit more about IBM, flash systems, and the, oh my goodness.
Client Zero.
The Client Zero. And I think that was really cool too. And I think Client Zero is definitely something that I'm even trying to think about in our business. Like, how do I apply it? I even sent emails yesterday about it. I was even looking at there were 30, 40, 50 case studies in that Client Zero. And I was looking at a few saying, how can we replicate it? How can we replicate it? There's just so many ways to do it. So I think there's a lot to be said from what IBM is doing with AI now. I think that's really good. What watsonx and how you're using watsonx to solve a lot of these different challenges. And then it's also just a really good position for us as a business partner with IBM. I think we're putting ourselves in a good position, whether we're selling to the federal government or the commercial space. There's a lot of promise.
Yeah. And I think being your own Client Zero is so valuable for Frontier, but also for any partner out there, right? Because again, it's all, to me, I think experiential selling and how IBM has gone, full force into that is just brilliant, right? When you can actually tell your customer, your client, your end user that not only am I telling you about this, but either I'll demonstrate it for you with your system, your data, we'll build something, we'll build you a minimum viable product so that you can touch it and play with it and see it in your own environment, or we'll tell you how we did it in ours, right? I think that's just a brilliant way of selling. And it's not just, hey, this sounds really cool, right? Buy it, right?
Yeah.
So I love the experiential selling. I love the Client Zero way of selling things. And I think it's a huge tool for our business partners and also, for IBMers.
Okay. Well, great.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right. Well, thank you. And to our listeners, please follow us on YouTube, Tipsy Technologists, and you can find us on Spotify. And where else are we at? Apple. And please follow us. We need more subscribers. So, hint, Joel.
Got it.
All right.
I follow you already.
I don't know. I'd have to ask David.
Yeah.
So David has to let me know. But that's perfect. Does he?
I don't know.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, I do on LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Well, and then follow us on LinkedIn too. Thank you. Thank you. This was fun.
It
Cheers.
was fun. Cheers.
Cheers. All right.